When Taylor Swift announced her engagement to NFL star Travis Kelce, the internet erupted in celebration. Millions of fans hit like, celebrities rushed to comment, and the moment instantly became one of the biggest pop culture events of the year. But buried in all that joy was a silence so loud, it shook fans to their core. Because while old friends like Gigi Hadid and even Karlie Kloss sent their support, one person stayed completely quiet: Blake Lively. And for many, that silence confirmed what people had been whispering for months. The once inseparable friendship between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively may be over. Taylor Swift's engagement reveal wasn't just any announcement. It was the cultural moment of the week. The Instagram post went live on August 26th, instantly pulling millions of likes and reshares. Within hours, headlines screamed about the pop icon finally taking the next step with Travis Kelce. Friends, fans, and celebrities alike couldn't get enough of the romantic photos. But for all the excitement, the absence of one voice quickly stole the spotlight: Blake Lively's. Not a single like, not a congratulatory comment, not even a passing emoji. Instead, Blake spent the same day resharing birthday tributes from friends and family as she turned 38. That contrast, celebrating her own birthday publicly while ignoring her longtime best friend's life-changing news, sparked a frenzy online. Fans didn't miss it for a second. On Twitter, threads popped up asking, "Where's Blake?" On Instagram fan pages, comments with thousands of likes highlighted the silence. The fact that even Karlie Kloss, who had famously drifted from Taylor years ago, managed to quietly like the engagement post made Blake's silence look intentional. To many Swifties, it wasn't just an oversight, it was a statement. And it wasn't like Blake had been inactive online. That same day, she had plenty of time to reshare Instagram stories and bask in her birthday wishes, which raised an uncomfortable question. If she could do that, why couldn't she acknowledge Taylor's biggest announcement yet? Was this the clearest public signal yet that the once tight friendship had collapsed? The optics made it even more dramatic. For over a decade, Blake and Taylor had openly supported one another. Birthdays, holidays, movie releases, album launches, you could always count on at least a subtle nod from one to the other. But on this occasion, when Taylor announced the engagement that fans had been anticipating for years, Blake's silence echoed louder than words. It was the kind of silence that didn't just look like forgetting. It looked like a deliberate choice. And for a fan base that thrives on decoding every detail of Taylor's life, that choice became the biggest talking point of the engagement. So what happened? Reports suggest the real cracks began earlier this year with Blake's legal battle against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. In January, Baldoni filed a massive $400 million lawsuit against Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and their team, accusing them of defamation and more. Here's where things get messy. In May, Taylor Swift was suddenly dragged into the legal drama. Court documents revealed texts from Blake that referred to Taylor and Ryan as her dragons, protectors she could rely on. On paper, it sounded like Blake was pulling Taylor into a conflict she had nothing to do with. Baldoni even subpoenaed Taylor, demanding she appear in court. Though the subpoena was eventually dropped, insiders say Taylor felt used and betrayed by the situation. According to reports, she couldn't understand why her name was being tossed around in a lawsuit she had no part in. For someone who carefully manages her image, being forced into tabloid headlines over someone else's drama may have been the final straw. After the subpoena, the friendship seemed to collapse almost overnight. Sources claimed Taylor wanted no part of Blake's feud with Baldoni. The pop star distanced herself, making it clear she didn't want her reputation tied to the messy courtroom battle. Even though the case was dismissed in June, insiders say the damage was already done. Taylor, who once flew across the world for friends, didn't even pick up the phone. It wasn't just distance, it was silence. And fans noticed that too. After months of growing distance, insiders claim Blake Lively wasn't ready to let the friendship completely die. At least, not at first. According to reports, she tried multiple times to reach out to Taylor behind the scenes. We're talking texts, voicemails, even long emails, each one reportedly filled with pleas to repair what they once had. For Blake, it wasn't just about saving face publicly. This was someone she'd considered family. Taylor wasn't just another Hollywood friend. She was the godmother to Blake's 3 daughters, someone who'd shared private holidays, late-night conversations, and intimate family milestones. Losing that bond meant losing a sister figure, and Blake, by many accounts, wasn't ready to let it all go. But here's where the story takes a painful turn. Taylor never responded. Not to the texts, not to the calls, not even to the emails that insiders say were written with genuine emotion. To fans, this silence spoke volumes. It suggested that Taylor wasn't just pulling back temporarily, she was drawing a hard line. By June, sources close to the situation revealed that Blake had finally stopped trying. She realized her messages weren't just unanswered, they were unwanted. And when Taylor didn't budge, even after months of attempts, Blake shifted her focus elsewhere. One insider summed it up bluntly: Blake knows she won't be in the wedding, and she doesn't care anymore. To many fans, this was the clearest sign yet that the door had officially closed. The idea of Blake as a bridesmaid, or even as a guest at Taylor's wedding, went from hopeful speculation to impossible fantasy. And the saddest part? Friends of the pair admitted that these were the exact kinds of conversations the two used to have. They'd laugh about the future, about Blake's kids growing up with Auntie Taylor around, about what role Blake might play in Taylor's wedding, about being by each other's side through every milestone. Now, those conversations were gone, replaced by silence, unanswered calls, and an emptiness fans couldn't ignore. In the end, Blake's attempts to rebuild the friendship only highlighted how far things had fallen. What was once a sisterhood had become a one-sided effort. And when Taylor refused to meet her halfway, Blake was left with no choice but to let go. If Taylor's engagement silence from Blake wasn't enough to raise eyebrows, the birthday fallout made things even clearer. Just one day before Taylor shocked the world with her engagement news, Blake was celebrating her own 38th birthday. Normally, fans would expect their friendship to shine on occasions like this. After all, Taylor had often posted sweet, witty tributes to Blake in the past, sometimes even including playful nods to Ryan Reynolds and their kids. But this year, absolutely nothing. Reports soon surfaced that Taylor hadn't even been invited to Blake's birthday gathering. According to insiders, her name wasn't on the guest list, not even as a courtesy. For a friendship that once felt like family, this was more than a missed party. It was a symbolic erasure. Sources explained it bluntly: Taylor has not been invited. They were once inseparable, but after everything that's gone down this year, Blake wouldn't take her back now. That everything referred to the Justin Baldoni lawsuit, the same legal battle that dragged Taylor's name into headlines against her will. According to Hollywood insiders, Blake had always thought Taylor would be in her corner. But when Taylor chose to keep her distance, Blake allegedly viewed it as betrayal. To her, Taylor's silence during the scandal wasn't about self-protection, it was abandonment. One source painted the picture even darker, saying, "That ship has sailed. Blake's closed the door and locked it." That kind of language didn't sound like temporary tension, it sounded final. And then came the engagement news. Just hours after Blake had finished celebrating her birthday, Taylor announced the moment fans had been waiting for. Suddenly, Blake's own milestone was overshadowed, buried under the tidal wave of Swift's engagement headlines. Instead of sharing in the joy, or even posting a polite congratulations, Blake doubled down on silence. To fans, the contrast couldn't be more glaring. Where once the two women regularly traded birthday shout-outs and life updates, now they were ignoring each other during their biggest milestones. It was more than just an awkward phase. It looked like a deliberate effort to cut ties. Some insiders even speculated that Blake felt relieved not to be dragged into the wedding conversation. Where fans once imagined her standing beside Taylor as a bridesmaid, the reality now was stark. There's no will she or won't she about Blake being in the wedding, because she just won't. She knows that, and I don't think she particularly wants to talk about that, one insider told the Daily Mail. The symbolism was striking. In the past, these two friends would have laughed, joked, and dreamed together about moments like weddings, proposals, and family milestones. But now, those conversations were replaced with silence. And when silence takes the place of support, that's when fans know a friendship has crossed the point of no return. So when Taylor shared her engagement news with the world, fans waited for Blake's reaction. Instead, they got silence. Not a message, not a like, not even a passing emoji. For a friendship built on a decade of public support and private milestones, that absence said more than words ever could. Insiders made it clear Blake isn't obsessing about Taylor's life anymore. She's focusing on her family, her career, and her legal battles. And Taylor? She's moving forward with wedding plans surrounded by other friends. Selena Gomez, Sabrina Carpenter, Gigi Hadid, all celebrating her happiness. At the end of the day, celebrity friendships are complicated. They can shine like gold in public, but break quietly in private. For Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, a decade of sisterhood seems to have ended not with a fight, but with silence. And maybe that's why it hurts fans so much. Because when Taylor found love, Blake lost a friend.